we do this particular call today and this topic is because uh, a lot of time what gets in the way from I want to be featured to getting featured is actually putting the time to do the outreach because it takes time. You gotta put yourself out there. You got to spend time writing the pitches, waiting for the journalist, back and forth. The same when you want to pitch for events or you want to pitch for potential partners. So if we are actually having someone else that can do this stuff for us, that becomes a much easier way. And in particular, if we don't have to pay for this person or if we have to pay a minimal amount, so then they can gain the experience that can be relevant to them to find a job or to start their own activities one day. And as well for you, it saves you money. So that's why I love interns. We've been playing around using interns for now, like for last year, and we have two interns at the moment, hiring two more uh, at this stage. So I've learned quite a bit in terms of the hiring process, the resources, and so on. And that's what we are going to talk about today. First of all, question for you: have you ever hired an intern, or have you ever thought about hiring an intern? If you can, please let me know in the chat. Have you ever hired an intern, or have you ever? And also, Shan, if you can please check with Wang if she sent out the text message for people today, because we have a lower attendance than usual. So if you can please reach out to Wang and check it out, I appreciate it. Okay, so you hired Rishi. You are the VA. Okay, that's brilliant. How's it going with your VA?
So it really didn't go well because I did not know. I felt that I had to give time to train, and that aspect was I didn't have that time to train her. So it went on for a month,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was not a very good experience from my side.
That's a very
And
good
I
point.
would say that I was not good enough as well at that point.
That's a very good point that you mentioned. I didn't have enough time to train her. And there is the assumption that when we hire someone, then they're going to solve all our problems. Now, at the beginning, for the first 3 months, they're going to create problems. That's what they're doing. So just get into the mind. So when you hire someone, they're going to create problems first. Why? Because unless, like, first of all, you need to find a working relationship. It's almost like working like with a new colleague. You have to fine tune your working relationship. You have to get the operations and the systems going. If they're not, you got to train them, and that's part of the process. So see your interns as a system, as an investment that you're doing, that you're using long term, and then you can decide at that point you want to hire that person or not. But that's also why when we are going to talk about contracts later on, we're going to look at how long should you hire that intern for. Because if you have an internship for a month and you spend a month training them, that serves a large company, not a small business. So that's why all the contracts that I have with interns are minimum 3 or 6 months, minimum. Because I know the first month is just for to find our way. So let's get started with the um, uh, let's get started with the training, and then I'm going to give you also a document with all the resources of what we are talking about today. And I'm going to do a video recap at the end to put in the group. There is, first of all, oh yeah, actually, I got a bit too excited going ahead. Before what we decided is that we're going to spend the 1 minute to share some wins that people had in the group. So thank you for reminding me, Shan. Shan is your awesome community manager. So Shan, over to you.
Hi everybody, how you doing? I'm really excited to meet you all. I'm really excited for you to be on Profile Builder because it is awesome, right? And I'm here because I'm all about well-being. I'm all about motivation. And I'm basically here if you get to the point where you're like, oh my God, this is too much, I'm overwhelmed, then just reach out to me. I'm in the group and just tell me. I'm in every Wednesday doing a live for well-being to help with procrastination, to help with overwhelm, to help with self-led learning. I can lead you to different resources. So that's my role here. And also, I would like everybody today on the training, just to give you a little job already, is to take like a photo at some point through the training of your screen, right? And then pop it. Simone's going to do like a wrap up video in the group. So underneath that, pop your photo and tell me your biggest win out of today. Like, what was your biggest takeaway from the knowledge you're going to get today? So has everybody got that down? So basically, we're taking a photo of the screen, we're putting it underneath the video Simone is going to do in the group, and we're going to say, what is the biggest nugget of gold, basically, that we got from training today? And I'm going to be doing it too, because I'm looking forward to this subject. But first, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate the wins that have been happening in the group, right? So we've got Michelle Raymond, who is an awesome trainer, as you know, in Profile Builder. 6 speaking engagements in January was the hashtag win. So can I get I want to see you like this. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, so we've got to celebrate these things. And Yvette Ankara, published in Authority magazine. Well done. That was awesome. There's another hashtag win. Yeah, Leela Singh has got booked as a keynote speaker for International Women's Day. So there's a hashtag win. Yes.
I
Okay.
think it was
And
like IBM. She was
was
getting
it IBM she got booked with?
I think she got that. So
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm going to have to hashtag win myself because I put a book proposal in with my husband to Wiley publishers, and they're interested and they've put that out to their people. So yes. And Sue Ritchie, connection from a fertility clinic on LinkedIn that is going to add towards work with them. So that's a hashtag win. And who we got? Helen Snape as well. She got posted in Life Coach Directory, one of her articles. She'd been meaning to write it for ages, and she'd done it. She got it out there, and so that's a hashtag win. Come on, guys, keep engaged here. And then Keith Blackmore Noble, he got booked for a paid speaking gig, and in his post he was like, "It's paid," so that's a hashtag win. So guys, it's all to play for, being part of this community and doing the work. So now I'm going to step back and let Simone give us all them nuggets of gold.
all right, thank you, Sean. And yeah, we decided we had this idea. Was that yesterday when we had a call? It's like because we want to celebrate. We have a culture of celebrating wins, and any win that you get, small or big, make sure you put it in the group hashtag win, and then we'll give you a shout out as well here. Now let's get started with the training. So there is a website that I'm going to share right now. I want you, while I'm going through it, either now or later, to create your account. It's called Internwise. Internwise. It is an awesome website. I'm putting the link here in the chat. And what Internwise does, it connects businesses with interns. So you can register your account as a business or as an entrepreneur, and then you will have a a list of either interns you can contact or jobs that you can post or internship contracts that you can post, and they will match based on the AI the people that they will put your job offer in front of the right people. Now you can specify also, we're going to look at through the offer and how I posted it, but I hired literally, like it was the first time, first call, hired a great social media assistant that does my written content, because as much as I love creating content and I write quite a lot, I hate writing. I did it because I gotta do it. It's like it's all one of these things. But if I could just give me a microphone, give me a stage, that's me and someone else write my content, please. So I found a person which now we're working and we hired because she finished their internship. So then we didn't hire. And then another person that is Josh, which is doing our PR outreach and our media outreach. So you can see here you will have Internwise. So when you log in, then it looks something like this. You have your account. I'm not going to go through. You are going to populate your account and your company descriptions and who you are. I'm not going to go through that right now. But then it just gives you an idea of the interface. So you can find, for example, here's where you put your personal detail. Here's if you have a job, for example, that you want to put out there. You post a job. And then you can decide what is the vacancy title, right? So for example, can be PR intern. All right. And by the way, cute baby alert. Cute baby alert. Okay. Uh, the city, if the location is important or it doesn't matter, if it's remote, the job sector, where you're at, the length of period of the internship. Sometimes you can even hire interns for more than 12 months with a split of 3 months unpaid or 6 months unpaid and the rest paid. I'm hiring someone right now as an intern, which is an internship for 12 months. We decided that we're going to have conversation every 3 months regarding the compensation, but the first 3 months is going to be for free and the contract is 12 months. And then you're going that's to write the description. Now you can also decide if you want someone part-time or full-time, because a lot of people might do internship because while they're finishing their studies. And right now, this is why I think is a great time for people to find internship, and there is a great demand as well, is because a lot of students, they are working from home, like they're not going to university. And so they are studying from home. They might be struggling to find part-time jobs or other full-time jobs that they're looking for, and they want to keep themselves up to date and do CV, or to use that as a start of their freelance career. That's also another thing that I found. Some people, they just say, I just want some experience, so then if I pitch myself as a freelancer to another company, I've got something to show for. You can select the region and then the languages. If you have also any other question, Shan, if you can then have a look at the chat for later. I'm going to answer, to have 15 minutes at the end to answer questions as well. But let me go through the training, because you might have some question I'm going to answer while I go through. So we're going to keep the questions at the end. So once you've posted it, then you will see that you can go back to your dashboard, and you have what is called here messages. Now, every job that you post will have in your message inbox, you can select people that have responded to a particular message. So let's say that one is a PR internship. You can see that they are archived because I found already the people that I was looking for. You can see that they are archived. Otherwise, you can see that if you have them open, they will not be archived. And as you can see, also I have quite a lot of messages. I got like 60 random messages, because after I found some of the people I was looking for, people kept applying, but then I was already happy with the people that I was looking for. But you can see like the demand is there, and the demand is literally there, and you can find the one that are archived. There is a chat archive. If there are all the chats, depending on what they're looking for, depend on who depend on what kind of a job they are putting themselves forward. So let's look, for example, I think we can find we can find one here. So if you go into my jobs, right, this is where you can manage the jobs that you're putting out. So the inbox, you manage the answers and so on. In the jobs, you manage the request. So I'm going to start with the PR and social media outreach. I'm going to put a document together as soon as I finish this call with the copy and paste of the pitches that I've sent. They worked, so use them. There, of course, you can change, make sure that they are yours, but here you can see that I've done is a part-time work that I was looking for, a PR and media outreach internship. So that was the job title, PR and media outreach internship. Where, if there was a location, the period that I was looking for, 7 to 12 months. It was remote work. And then they will ask you, so what job sector are you looking for? So I was looking for marketing, advertising, and social media, because I want to find someone who is either from a PR degree or from a journalist degree, or from social studies. Like, these are great people that have interest in what's going on in society. Because someone that does great PR and media outreach is someone who has a pulse on what's going on. In fact, you end up the guy that I've hired to do the PR and media outreach is actually study politics, right? And the great thing is that I don't follow politics. So literally, he tells me, write this. Here's what I wrote. Here's what you should say. Here is your research. Go ahead. And then I get my politics bulletin from him. So you can find people that literally is not that you always have to guide. You might have to guide them in the process, but they might guide you because you hire someone that knows more than you in a particular field, just because you don't have the time, the passion, or the interest to have this pulse on local affairs or global affairs. And then the description goes something like this. So I started with our company GTeX helps talented individuals set up profitable businesses and make a positive impact in the world. We're looking for a PR intern to develop into our PR manager, and this role can turn into a full-time paid contract. Now, if you don't can provide, of course, don't lie, right? Just say, what are you looking for? You are motivated and you want to learn and have a passion for PR, media, and connecting with people. So I want them to identify the quality first of that person. In this role, you will be in charge of all my social media channels. You will connect with journalists. You will help pitch publications. You will find relevant publication, radio shows, and media outlet. And you will work with other team members that are in charge of various avenues of the business. Now you can see also the why we put in terms of what these are. They know already what they are going to do immediately from the get-go. And by the way, I didn't come up with this. Like I took this structure from someone else. I don't remember who, but I loved it so much. Please apply, including past experience, no CV, please. I actually didn't want to have them a CV, to send me a CV. Now, this is also helped me test out if they're reading the application or not. Because some people, the first thing they do, they send a CV. And that's the first request that I hear. So then I see their attention to detail. Now, I'm not saying that if someone sends them a CV, I don't hire them. Because some people might send a CV and I look at it. But I just want to see, can they read instructions from the get-go? What idea you have of my work? So I get them immediately to tell them, because I want them to do some research and put some ideas together, what you can bring to the table and anything else. So that's what I want them to tell me. Please, no videos, audios, I got time for it. Ideally less than 100-word emails. And I want to test them their ability to get their point across in a succinct version, because that's what they're going to be doing with journalists. If someone is not able to get their point across in about 100 words, like generally the emails that you send to a journalist might be a couple of 100 words, right? So that's why I put it there. And then also they have the area of qualifications. Now, I said that is like, I don't care about particular qualification, but a marketing PR background can help. So I'm less interested in this case. Do you have this particular degree? For you, if there is something that you need as a requirement, make sure you put the requirements that you need. A passion for PR and media, a creative mind, willingness to learn, good with words, friendly and sociable, willing to adapt and change quickly. They have to, if they have to work with me, I change my mind every 2 minutes. Understand how to use Twitter and connect with people. I think, yeah, that was it. So now you can, and then if you go down, then you can see all the other people that have applied. I think I ended up actually choosing this Josh here. Yeah, this is Josh. And these are all the people that applied. Now, as part of the free plan, you can review up to 5 applications, right? Then you have to pay for the paid plan, which is like £39 a week. You can cancel at any time. So it might be that you send like 5 job applications, find the people, open all the emails for a week, and then cancel it. At the moment, I've been working with it only on the free version. Really happy with that. Really happy with that. Didn't move to the paid one yet. So this is how the platform works. You can see it's very simple and it's very intuitive. Now the trick and the thing now happens when they get hired, right? Because now what I'm going to find is 3 to 5 people that I have selected from these applications. Sometimes it can be 2, sometimes 3. Like I have an idea, and also there is a sense of feel. There is a feeling there. Like I feel this can be a good person. Sometimes they will put their social media account. I go and stalk them on social media to see how they show up. Like I remember I was finding this guy for this PR role, and I really, really wanted to hire him. Really wanted to hire him. He just couldn't do an unpaid internship, so we ended up being in a good relationship, but not doing the work together. But he had his own. It's like 18. He had his own radio show. I could see that he could work on social media. Could understand the media world, and I was like, and I love this personality. So sometimes even they will have their own videos on social media. They will have things. So go out there and stalk them and check them. Sometimes they have nothing. Sometimes they might have their LinkedIn profile up to date. But that's the first step I do. I go there and I check who they are, and then also read the application that they send me. After that, I send a dummy task that they have to complete within maximum 4 days. Now, what I did for this dummy task, and I can put you, and I can send you also the email template that I use for the PR dummy task. It was you have 4 days to get me featured either on a TV show, publication, or magazine. I'm not giving you any more instructions. That's it. That was the dummy task because I wanted more to see the attitude that they have. And I remember that Josh, which is the guy that we have now, he didn't get back to me until literally the last day. And so I sent him an email. I said, hey, are you okay? Are you still doing stuff? And it was like, sorry, I didn't want to get back to you because I didn't have any response yet. But these are the publications and magazines and radio show that I've pitched. Now, what he went out for like literally the BBC, he went out for ITV, he literally pitched. Now, that got me to say, even if he didn't get the role, I didn't care at the moment that I could have a pitch, that I could have a feature in those 4 days. But I wanted to see how that person with no instruction could approach the role. If they were going to come back to me and ask me question, if they were going to maybe feel, oh, I cannot get back to that person because I haven't completed the task. Because some people, they will not even, they will say, I won the internship, but then action speaks louder than word. So I want to see how bad do you want this internship? Are you going to be someone that 2 weeks down the line are going to find something else and let me down? Or are you going to be someone who is committed to the process? And also, can you show me how you work? Because one of the things is that I asked him is that I want a report on the process that you use to get this task done. And what I loved about him is that immediately, like it would have been easier for him studying politics and journalism, going and ask for one of his friends and say, hey, I've got this person. Maybe do you have a university magazine? Can you feature that person in? That would have been easy. But he went already to the big ones. And so that got me to see how he thinks. And that's why even if I didn't get the feature, I decided to hire him. Now, funny story, his first pitch after we worked together was actually featured on BBC World Radio. So actually we got also BBC World Radio done. And that was his first pitch, right? We crafted it together, we got it together. But then it gives me an idea on how he thinks. So I'm going to get, I don't know if there are, for the moment, Chan, if there are a few questions. I just want to see if there are any questions at the moment that
There's a
anyone wants to
couple.
ask. Yeah.
There's a question from Baba. How many hours count for part-time and how many hours count for full?
I work with them, I negotiate with them because for me it's less important how many hours they put in. It's more important what results can you give me, right? If they put 2 hours and give me the results, or they put 15 hours and give me the results, that so first of all is to establish that we are outcome oriented, not time oriented. I don't want them to fill the time for the sake of filling the time. And then I ask them when we are in, how much time can you dedicate to this process, knowing that is an unpaid internship? Because I want them to be realistic. And if someone says I can dedicate 4 hours a week, 5 hours a week, or there might be weeks, for example, that like with the interns that we had, there are weeks where we had to stop the work because they had an exam coming up. So I can study for the exam, come back next week, pass the exam, and then come back next week and we resume the work. Because the good thing about PR and this particular work is that is a nice to have that is necessary, right? If you don't have PR or features and so on, it's not that your business is not going to move forward, but it's also not going to go where you want it to go, right? And so as long as they do it sometime consistently, even 2 3 hours a week, I'm cool with that. And then there are some people, sometimes they will put like 10 hours in a week, and the week after they don't put anything, right? As long as I can see the pitches that are going out, I'm happy with that.
Cool. That's a good way to use an intern and learn how to use them, I suppose. Huh? Judith has a question. Don't you have to legally pay an intern?
No, you don't have to legally pay an intern. You can have unpaid internships that are part of the contract, and depending on what is the agreement that you're doing with them. So, for example, I did a lot on of unpaid internships, right? A lot. I do unpaid work still now for people that I want to learn from, and I say, hey, can I do this work for free for you so I can learn how you do it? I still do that right now, and so there are no legal implications on the paid or unpaid as long as the contract is clear. And I will put also the example of a contract in the resources as well.
That was the next question. So there we go. That's an answer to me and who else? Somebody else. Michelle. We're just saying it'd be good to have a link to a document that we can take a template from. And
Uh-huh.
then Baba's just asked, do you give them access to your social media accounts, like the back office?
Uh, yeah, I do. Uh, it's not the first thing I give them access to, though. Right. First, I work about a month with them with the other things. So, for example, I'll show you now what platforms to get your intern started, because we already talked about Haro, Source Bottle. So I get them to start with those platforms. And then once they've established trust and I see that I can work with them, then I give them access also to the back office. I will create, in this case, an email for them. I use G Suite. So they will have an email, and in this case was like media@gtex.org.uk. Right, that was the email that we have created for them. So then the pitches will come from that email. And at the beginning, actually, I had the email josh@gtex.org.uk. But then I was like, the moment Josh leaves, I need to want to keep in touch with those contacts. So I decided to have the email media because like the work that we are doing in terms of internship, and this is a good way for you to see it, is basically like a 6 months contract, and then the fifth month is spent to train the next intern, right? So I want the internship to be self-sustainable. I spent 5 months to train you up, right? That's 5 months of my time. These are all the hours. I have 2 hours a week that I meet with them, with all my interns. One to establish the goal of the week, and one to establish the other one to review the work that they've done. So I'm spending time. So what I'm doing is that 5 months is actually the work that they're going to do and deliver, with generally being the first month more heavily on training and checking things even more. Then the last month is for them to train the next person. So now for them, they learn management, they learn leadership, which is a brilliant skill that they can have, and they learn to train others. They reinforce the learning that they got. And in my side, I've now spent time training one person, so I already got the next person lined up when they're going to leave. So that's the way we see I structured our internship program.
Awesome. And Michelle's asking, would you use something like LastPass for password protection?
Yeah, yeah. So if you have, for example, some like some tools that you want to share, LastPass is an incredible tool where you can safely share passwords where they don't see the password, but I can access it. So then the moment you revoke them access, then they don't have access to your like to all the passwords and so on. So that's a great tool that, for example, we use also with our interns. So I'm going to move on now with the rest part of the training, because now we've looked at where do we find interns, and then we went into intern wise how to structure the internship request. Now next is what do I do with them as soon as they join? It's like, okay, I found this person, they did the dummy task, I want to work with them, they accepted the contract. where do we start? So one of the things that I've done, first of all, is to have an onboarding, to create a Google Drive folder with them, for them. So then they have everything that they're working on is in one place, right? So that was step number one, create a Google Drive folder for them. And then to arrange an onboarding session. So the first call is literally just to understand each other, for them to understand the company and what I'm looking for, and for them to understand me as a person, because they're going to pitch me, like they're not pitching the company. And so they got to understand a bit more about myself, their background. If you have an article already published about you and your story, give them those kind of articles, because then they can have an understanding of it. If you already written like a blog post or a social media post about you and your life, make sure they're putting out there, so then they can get to know you on a personal level and a professional level. And then on the first call, what we did was a development plan, right? So here it was what is the focus that we are going to go work on. So get Simone interviewed on publication, radio, TV, podcast. So they knows that he's only working on this. What are his priorities? So what is that he got to do? And then the development plan, which is what is it I'm going to train you on? Now, was the first part. Now I got to the first 3 months. I got to do another 3 months development plan. So we do it like 3 months at a time. So then it got time to, I understand what are also his interests, right? Because it's not just about you do what I want you to do, but is what are you interested in? What would you like to learn? Okay, great. This aligns with one of the things that I want you to do. Let's get that done. And in fact, now, like we spent the first 3 months focusing on Twitter, Harrow, Source Bottle, but now we are doing more a proactive outreach actually to big US media, with a plan on commenting on news on what can the US learn from the Italian and the UK approach on how they dealt with COVID. That's the angle, because remember, basic of visibility and profile building, your background is your biggest asset. People are looking for opinion that are coming from your unique background. Your ethnicity, your religion, your point of view, where you were born, where you live, they all count. I'm Italian, living in the UK. Two countries that have been both in the limelight in negative ways around the response to COVID, and also positive ways as well, because the Italian healthcare system is incredible, like they deal in an incredible way. And in the UK, the amount of money that have been put into the economy, the furlough scheme. I mean, like you go to Italy, they said they were going to be furlough. They're still waiting from their salary for their first lockdown. So it's like, that's the situation right in Italy. No one is getting paid unless you got some money. Like it's tough right now. And so I can bring together these two backgrounds. So now that's the proactive pitches that we are doing. So that goes down to the development plan that we have created. So that's step number one. Have the session with them, create a development plan, and be clear about what are the outcomes, what are the goals, and what they're going to do first. So that's number one. Then number two, I want them to start with something simple, right? I want them to start with something simple. And we talked about different platforms. We have SourceBottle, sourcebottle.com. We have helpareporter.com, where you create your own account. We talked about this a few times. If you're new to this, you will find those resources in the training portal. But these are platforms that they connect journalists to sources. And every day you receive an email from Harrow and another email from SourceBottle, two things that that you can search, that they can be relevant to what you're looking for. The other things that I love about SourceBottle is that if you do, for example, if you go, oh no, I gotta change now. But if you go into search, for example, I need to change my password. But if you go into search with SourceBottle, you can also put a keyword. So let's say that, for example, for Sean is going to be sustainability, and put sustainability in the keyword. It will give you all the media publication or TV station or radio that they have that are looking for that keyword. You can find people that are women in business. You can find phobias for Keith. You can find parenting for Baba, and so on. And so I want them to start simple. Instead of getting them to give them access to my social media account, to reach out to journalists, let's do some reactive PR where we are going to respond for something that they are already looking for. And what I did, which is this template is also in your training portal, is a template on how to submit a pitch that works either for Haro or Source Bottle. So what I did first, I went through him. I got him to understand this template, and then we created a few pitches together. So the first few weeks, I was pitching alongside him, but I was getting him to create the pitch while I was just observing and watching. And then I would criticize this pitch and say, okay, change this, prove this there, and so on. Because they will learn best if they have to force themselves to find an answer rather than you just say, post this. And I didn't want to get someone with the idea that they were going to do a copy and paste work. I wanted them to know that they were going to start and they were going to own the project. And therefore, I got them, even if they didn't know, say, I don't know, say, write it down what you think, and then I'll criticize at the end. And then giving feedback in terms of positive praise and terms of improvements, to the point that now, then we created a document, and these are like the pitches that he has done so far, right? And these are some of the pitches. We have also another document. These are the pitches that are active at the moment. And so whenever he sends a pitch as well that we want to review together, we are going then to put in a document like this. Now, not every pitch that he sent now is put in a document because he's been working with us for a few months. But if he sends, for example, 15 pitches, like it happened recently, he sent 15 pitches and nothing came back. I was like, okay, so nothing came back. There might be something in the pitch that you send that is not working. So what we did, actually, we realized that the headline that he was sending out were quite poor. So the headlines weren't grabbing the attention. So what we did now an entire session, rechanging all the headline and resending the pitches that he sent before to the same journalist, because now the headline is different and it's very likely they have not seen it. Then we can see what parts are they going to change. Now, the great thing about this program is that once you have your intern, you can get them to attend the profile builder sessions, right? So this becomes also a selling point for them to say, hey, on top of this, you're going to get a training which costs X amount, which I paid for, and you can access those sessions, because if they are coming in, they're going to learn and they're going to be more effective in terms of your stuff. And now it becomes a win-win-win-win-win in all fronts. And for us, we are really passionate about quality education, and also fulfills a GTeX mission in the education system on giving opportunities to talented people. They are able to have the full online course, and they're able to attend the Tuesday calls that we have every 2 weeks, the training and the Q&A. But they need to, their question also need to be related with what you're doing. So it cannot come up with like a random question. Oh, hey, I'm looking for a career change. What do you think? I'm like, no. It's like, boundaries are boundaries. Like, they're working for you. Therefore, they are there as a representative of your business, which means the question they're going to ask is something that can be relevant for their own pitches. So this is now we're going to open up for questions. Want to give you a recap of the process. So first of all, you create your account on Interwise, right? You create your account on Interwise. I'll send you a template of the pitch, and you can send it over. Send the template of the job offer, the internship offer, and then you can start sending it out. Allocate at least 2 hours a week for every intern that you have. Please do that. One to set the task for the week, and one to check the work that they do, or one to train them and one to check the work that they do. You choose, but at least 2 hours a week with them, and keep in touch with them regularly throughout the week, because they need to be feel that they are part of a company. Literally treat them like is one of your full-time or part-time staff member. They are part of the team. Then you're going and you can, as soon as you create a dummy task for them, After you select the one that you are interested in working with, you say give them the dummy task. I'll send you the template of the one that I gave, but you can give another one. Like if you want to hire an intern, for example, like I did this training around publications, but let's say you want to hire an intern for speaking engagements. Same thing, like the dummy task needs to be related to the outcome that you want them to do. Maybe you hire someone to get you featured on podcast. You give them a dummy task to get you featured on podcast. So the set of the scene is what you want them to do later. Then you create their Google folder, so they have everything in there. You create, you do an onboarding session with them where they get to know you personally. And also you set up their development plan and their priorities. You give them access to email address and so on. Then you give them a template that they can follow and start doing the first pitches together with them. So then you can see, you can correct them, but don't correct them until they finish writing it down. Get them to force themselves to complete the exercise first, and then work with them on how to make them better. So they start using their brain from the get-go and take ownership of the project. And then you can use the template in this case from that we have of Haro. And the easiest things to do is to start with either SourceBottle or helpareporter.com. Or you have, as well as part of the Profile Builder program, you have the database of all the publication and podcasts that you can reach out to. You can use also the database, which is part of this program. Ta-da! Was this useful? I'll take it as a yes. All right, that's brilliant. So let's go with some questions. Shan.
Amazing, Simone.
Thank you, Emma.
Awesome. So let me see. You've answered that one already. We had, I asked about what about market research? Can I use an intern to do that sort of stuff?
Absolutely. You can use an intern for anything, right? So if it's, for example, if you need market research, then you can hire an intern for market research. If you need sales, you can hire an intern for sales. If you need marketing, you get social media. I kept this focused on the profile building because that's what we're working on. And so if you're getting an intern, you can only, that's a very good point, only either your social media intern or PR intern can attend this course, because we need to give relevant answers to them and not other stuff.
Okay. And loving the Simone.happiness email. Um,
That was my very first email, yeah.
and then Judith is asking, do you get them to sign an NDA?
Yes, absolutely. Got the template of an NDA. The NDA is actually part of, is in their contract, and it's just one thing with NDA and contract to sign, which you will have as a template.
And can I combine podcasting backend work along with speaking opportunities hunt? This is Ruchi.
Yes, you can. Remember that it's better to train them on one thing at a time, right? Because if you then split their attention, like you're not generally working with someone that already know what they do. So now if you confuse them because you're give them too many things to learn, I'd rather focus, if it's like a 6 months internship, do the first 2 months one thing, which is the highest priority for you. Next 2 months the other thing, and the last 2 months of the internship, then they do both at the same time because now they've become good at both.
Okay. And Janie is asking, I've recently hired an intern to help me with pitching speaking engagements. What resource do you suggest in terms of getting started with pitching for speaking opportunities?
The best resources that you can find is here we have in the online portal. Let me share the screen. This is for everyone, because remember also your intern can learn from the resources that you have. But I will recommend you, Janine, because you just joined, to go through yourself first, because then if they have questions, then you know how to answer them and you can direct them in what to do. But you have so when you log in, you have access to the Profile Builder program, which is here. So you kick the Profile Builder program, and then you have all the module on speaking. And so this gives you ways on finding speaking engagements. You have emails, templates on how to follow up and send the emails to event organizers and so on. So you can use all the resources that they are in speaking. And also there are other resources that you can find in the resource center as well on the speaking side.
Awesome. And Baba was just clarifying his question from before that it's not the back end of Facebook, it's his profile. He says does Facebook like that if other people log into your profile?
Baba, do you mean, can I mute yourself? Do you mean like having someone accessing your account?
Hi, so what I mean is I know they can do my page, my group, I can add them to all of that, but my personal profile, I think Facebook does not like somebody else signing into my profile.
Not true. I haven't had problems. Wang manages my entire personal profile account from the Philippines and has been doing it for years.
Okay.
So she answers a lot of comments. She does the same on LinkedIn. That's I outsource a lot of the engagement and commenting part of social media to my assistant, to Wang. Now it makes sense. And also, Wang and I have been working together now for 6 years, right? So she understands me. She understands the company. She understands how, like, she already knows how I want her to answer to things. But if it's someone that you trust, because remember, they have access to your profile, which means they also have the ability to shut everything down. Risky. So unless you really, really trust that person, that's why it's good to get them to work like a bit more. Or maybe if they have to post, my intern has access to one of the social media intern has access to our scheduling platform that we use, which is Content Studio. So then she will schedule the content there and then broadcast it. Wang is the only one that has access to my social media account because of the relationship, and also she manages all the operations in GTeX. And then Josh has only access to my she has access to the Haro account and so on. But in terms of social media, she has access to the Twitter account. But I didn't give him access to the Twitter account straight away. Right. So answering the question, no, I never found any problem in having someone else logging in. There might be a code that you need to send them because they will recognize that they've been logged in from another IP address, which is not being recognized. And so that's also one part of the security process that social media platforms have.
Baba, you should just unmute yourself because you've got another question there, and I'm sure Simone could answer you.
Go ahead.
So, Simone, I'm looking for someone to help with editing videos as well as helping with podcast editing. Do you have any suggested resource that I might be able to share with that person when I'm ready to go?
Not on editing.
Okay.
Not on editing. Now, if you're looking to find that person, you can either find an intern or to find someone on Fiverr. Like video editing and podcast editing, they are not really difficult skills to have. Like there are a lot of 15 years old that can do a great job, and it takes hours. So give it to a 15, 16-year-old. It's great, and they build their portfolio, they get their experience. Or there are some people from that they don't live in the UK or the US, which you can pay either in the Philippines or India, that you can find via Fiverr, and with £10 or £5, you can then have an entire video edited. But in terms of what to do in terms of editing, no, I don't have any resources on that. If for the podcast, if you are interested and you hire that person and you want to have a chat with Wang, because Wang does all my podcast editing and all the process there. So if you need a half an hour, jump on a call with Wang and that can train your person, we can do that. We can arrange that.
I think we all need to just unmute and give a big whoop whoop for all that support that GTeX has given us for people that we employ for us and reaching out. Come on, woo! Awesome!
I love it.
Thank you, Simone.
It's my pleasure. Like anything we can do in terms of within the limit, but we'll do it. Um, da, da, da. Any other question or any share or something that you would like to explore? We got about 5 minutes left.
Simone, just in terms of intern being able to join one of these calls, do they join instead of you, or can they join in addition to you?
Can join alongside you. Yeah,
Okay,
it's no problem.
thank you.
Yeah, you can both join.
We do have a hashtag win that came in. Rushi said hashtag win for speaking engagement in May, also on a podcast. Also, stage 1 cleared for a TEDx talk. And she's been invited as President Science and Technologies for Women India Center for Commerce. So that's a
whoop whoop.
Hey.
Rushi, make sure you put in the group.
Yeah, hashtag in the
How
group.
can we celebrate you if we don't know it?
Thank you so much.
Well done. Great job. Great job. Okay. Right. So if there are not any other questions, then we wrap up the call. We wrap up the call right now.
Can I just say one thing that you said earlier? When
course.
people go into your social media and they can cancel you, basically, it's the same in Clubhouse if you make them moderator. They can kick you out your room, can't they?
That's why it's good to put as moderators only people that you trust and you know. If you're doing a Clubhouse room, for example, because like I've been part of rooms where like it wasn't my room, but I was one of the moderators, and there were some people in there that I don't know. Like sometimes there are just some twisted, nasty people in the world, which I don't anyway. But they were like demodding other people or put them back into the audience, close the room, and they were like people that were part of the team. I'm like, how bitter your life can be if you have to go there that low. How much of a sad person. Anyway, we're not going to go there, but yeah.
Check your mods.
Yeah, like is anything in business, and know what you're going in bed with. Know what you're going in bed with. That's all I can say. And use protections. If you that's all I can say on this.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you, Shan, for looking at the chat, for being incredible here, and to celebrate also everyone. Can we give a whoop whoop to Shan? Isn't she awesome? Yes, go Shan, go Shan, go Shan. Whoop, whoop.
I'll be lunchtime live tomorrow, guys. Remember, come and join me in the group.
Lunchtime live, Wellbeing Wednesday. This is more to keep ourselves sane. There's a lot to go through in a personal life, on a business life, and so on. So it's not about achieving and breaking yourself, but it's about achieving in a sustainable way. That's why Shan is doing the Wellbeing Wednesday. And there is an interesting. Got me thinking, if I wonder, I could hire an intern to get me paid speaking gigs and give me a percentage of any fees I get. Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. You can get someone and say, okay, yeah, you got a percentage. Like Lovelda, my wife, did hired an intern to manage their entire podcast series, 2 series of the podcast. They were doing the launch, the editing, they were doing the graphics, they were doing the social media. So literally, if you go into the Instagram account, the Women of Power podcast, or you go through the Women of Power podcast, everything from start to finish has been done by Lovelda's intern. He is brilliant. This guy is brilliant. He's Italian, just saying. But other than that, like it was just incredible. And what Lovelda did, if they reached a certain number of downloads, or for the work that he do, even if it was an unpaid internship, then she gave him a bonus. Or sometimes, like I know already from the internet we have, I'm going to give them a bonus anyway, because if it's important to reward the great work. And then I sometimes what you can do for them for this work is actually open doors and opportunities for them, right? You can place them, not maybe you don't have the budget to hire them in your company, but nothing can stop you to make a recommendation to say to other companies to say, hey, make sure you hire this person. So whatever you can do to support them then becomes a true win-win, and you're a team. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here today. I will see you in 2 weeks. As Sean mentioned, I will do a quick recap video of what we shared. Make sure you put under the video the screenshot, your biggest takeaway from this session, and I also put all the resources. So I'm going to work on it for the next 15-20 minutes. All right. Have a fantastic rest of the day and give each other a massive whoop whoop. Yeah, why not? See ya. Bye.